What is up, guys? It is Learning Fives. We're actually back. It's been a while, but we're finally here. My name is, of course, Zeta Beta. Joining me, Epic Death Guy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. The client has very loud music for me, but we are getting right into Champ Select. Bands coming out immediately.
Yeah, with Fiora Band and Camille Band, of course, two very, very dominant top picks, but I'd expect to see some of these more aggressive lethality-based junglers soon in the band lineup. What about you?
I'm expecting, the lethality is very strong right now. So the Graves, Kha'Zix champions are very strong. We might see some ADC bans as Varus comes out. And the ADC pool is already dwindling. We might even see Jhin taken out, and then it's all B tier ADCs and from there.
You don't consider Ezreal to be one of the A tier picks right now?
I think he has kind of fallen off a little bit as lethality is so strong and he does not build it. So he's kind of gone from maybe S or A tier down to low A, maybe. So he's not amazing, but he is a decent pick. And there's the Jhin first pick.
Jhin first pick. I mean, you called it there. If it isn't taken out, definitely the strongest of the remaining 80 carries. We'll see what sorry, not suicide. There are so many things flying through. We'll see what SKT can actually bring back in this ban phase, because there isn't too much available left in the bot lane.
Yeah, and a quick heads up to everyone watching. Since all players do not own every champion, we are having fill picks, so you can just hover like Teemo or something random like that, and we will be PM'd the champion name immediately afterwards. So if there's anything really weird locked in, like the Mordekaiser here, it probably is going to be something completely different.
Granted, we have seen Mordekaiser before. It's not unheard of, so it could come through, but realistically I would expect that to be a fill. Or not. Maybe it's just going straight top lane.
Okay, no, that Mordekaiser is actually a Karma.
Okay.
Sadly. So we will not be seeing the Hui coming out today.
Yeah, I mean, I do love seeing Mordekaiser, but if you can't beat him, you gotta just kind of join it and play all of these, traditionally OP champions. Anything that builds a Ghost Blade really is a pretty safe bet right now.
Yeah. But we also see the Corki pick coming out, which is quickly spiraled to one of the top tier mid lane picks, as his burst is just incredibly strong, as well as the package is almost like a second ultimate ability.
Yeah, mobility and safety in lane, the name of the game with that pick. After all, it's so hard to kill him. It's so hard to get any purchase, really, against his mid-game spiking potential, and even if you do kill him, he's still going to build Triforce, he's still going to be big, and Jambo picking up Corki, probably to trade over to CW, but we'll see what happens with Olaf and Yi being the hovers on the other side. I'm assuming the Teemo is a
fill pick. Yes,
fill,
that is a Zyra, I believe.
Alright.
That is.
So with Zyra and Karma locked in, I'm surprised they actually picked the Karma so early, given that it's generally going towards a support. Usually you'd want to save it for later, see if you can counterpick with that MF, but as of right now, both of the supports being locked in, one of the 80 carries. The only thing left is who will Sexy Kamikaze Turtles pick up for their ADC?
They might just go down the tier list and pick something comfort. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, what happened now? Mid lane just bug splat.
Well,
alright.
We're gonna take care of that real quick and get us back into lobby in a short bit. But yeah, touching on the sort of the lack of aggressive lethality picks so far in the selection. I mean, were you expecting to see more of the traditional top meta picks right now?
Well, we saw a lot of the meta picks actually come out, as it wasn't actually Mordekaiser. We had the Karma, Zyra, Corki, and Jhin come out, so all very high up in priority in even competitive play.
Yeah, that is true. They do have at least some purchase still in the higher tier scene, but realistically, I mean, I really wanted to see like a Rengar, a Kha'Zix, all of these what we know as supremely oppressive champions, but as of right now, I mean, it's not been sort of taken advantage of. No Rengar has been picked, it's not even banned, and with that all on the table still, we could see it come out.
Yeah, I'm kind of sorry that I'm not being super informative as I am kind of organizing all these fill picks. Everything is getting very crazy very quickly. Um,
Alright, well, we are going to be getting back into game very shortly. Hopefully this lobby will go a little bit faster, and we're already about halfway through. It's going to be the exact same pick and ban up until that point, and once we get there, we will handle the newer picks, and hopefully, we see something interesting. I'd really love to see some slightly more unconventional picks. Always a good thing to throw a wrench in the works of a traditional team comp sort of plan.
yeah, since a lot of the meta ADCs were taken out, I really want to see what's taken up here by Amy. Um, Amy plays quite a bit of Misfortune, and since MF can take advantage of the lethality as well, I think that would be a really nice pick to see.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's a very interesting pick in that it can also flex to the support role. I mean, they already do have the Karma lock-in, so unfortunately, that will not be the case. But if it were to be the case, I think it's really interesting that Champ is not only flexing into a lethality meta, but also is coming back into support. And as of right now, same pick and ban, and here we come to the point where the DC happened, where CW bug splatted. So we'll see what he wants to pick up. Their team, after all, can flex a lot of stuff around. They've got the Corki, they've got the Karma. What else are they looking for? What do you think they're going to go for in this team comp?
I think they're going for another bug splat, as it looks like their mid laner on Alpha Kittens is now bugged. So looks like we're gonna have to re-lobby again really quickly. Quite sad, but
this is the problem with the beta client and custom games. It doesn't like them. It sometimes happens once or twice, usually not this consistently, but we shall see if we can get this taken care of relatively soon. Yeah,
looks like he picks up the Veigar.
Did he get back in time?
Yeah, he looks like it works.
Okay, just as long as they're back in time and that's intended, we're okay.
Oh.
Because the thing is, if you DC in a custom lobby and you don't fully DC though, when you just can't pick, like it's spinning on the screen, they'll still think you're in and it'll random you a champion. And few people know about that, but that does happen in custom lobbies, so hopefully he's still here. And with Shen and Vi, one of those probably going towards the top side, going for a little bit of this sort of map controlling style with the Shen, covering for the Vi's weaknesses in the rotation gameplay.
Yeah, and that Veigar pick is actually going to be a Zyra. So
right,
we have the bot lane completed, and the Jhin Zyra bot lane has an incredibly high amount of poke. And
wait a second.
Oh, what? They picked Zyra again. Okay, what is... Okay, so the Zyra isn't actually Zyra. The Veigar is Zyra, and the Zyra is going to be something else.
Got you.
That might actually be a Kled top lane, though.
It could be. I mean, Kled, he actually is a pretty good matchup into most of the tanks. It's not fantastic into all of them, but Shen in particular deals with Kled very well because of that field that Kled can't attack in. So if he ever gets dismounted, Shen can just drop the field and go to town on his face.
Okay.
getting a little bit of information here. And,
Yes, that Zyra is the unknown mid lane pick. This is very messy very quickly. And the MF pick comes out. It's Ahri. Okay.
Got you. So with Ahri in the mid lane, we're going to remake the lobby and wait for everyone to get back in so that they can pick the picks that they have locked in as of right now. Which, for those of you who couldn't follow that, all through it's going to be a Zyra Jhin bot versus... Oh, did he crash again? Okay. No. We're fine.
We have all of our champions picked.
We have the champions picked. That's the important thing. So this one is actually what's going to happen. And we're just going to go through and see how it go. Yeah, what do you think about the Karma lock-in, though? I mean, to lock it in that early, it still feels like a little bit of a misstep, especially when Zyra's on the table, when Brand could come out. All these damage champions, again, having extremely good matchups against her.
I think the Karma is a very safe pick, and with the Misfortune that was picked up, as well as the Corki, she's going to boost those ADCs up and allow them to kite around much easier and much more safely.
Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully she can actually stick it around, and yeah, the Legacy client has been swapped to so that we hopefully don't get any more bug splats. Both mid laners having trouble keeping connected, but once these all get fully locked in, we can finally start analyzing the teams, breaking it down, and I'm actually really excited. I think that this is a very solid draft. When you pick up Jhin and Zyra and Ahri, you got a lot of mobility, you got a lot of pressure, and team fighting should be a piece of cake.
Yeah, it's worth noting that the Zyra has been nerfed, so she isn't nearly as oppressive in lane, especially if she's not hitting those abilities.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't actually hit someone, for those of you who don't know, the plants don't attack them either. So if you land plants in the middle of minion waves, they won't auto-target champions like they used to. You really have to put a lot more effort in to get the poke down. But we only touched on it briefly. The Kled top, how do you think that's going to go?
I think the Kled into Shen matchup is kind of not very great for Kled, as he wants to be very aggressive, and the Shen is a very, very safe laner. He can escape with his E, he can use his W to block Kled's auto attacks, and Kled is very auto attack heavy. So this matchup actually isn't going to allow Kled to snowball, which he would want to do. And hopefully we can see the Shen have some influence over the rest of the map. And if the Kled does not roam and use that ulti properly, then this Shen has a much easier time just getting the global utility off.
Yeah, he really does, but the bot lanes are very, very similar in terms of damage, and realistically, I think the MF actually outputs more damage than Jhin does in the straight level 6 engagement, so we'll have to see exactly how that power spike goes. I mean, of course, levels 1 through like 4, Jin's going to do more damage, unless he gets caught by like some kind of a double up, some kind of the mantra Q. It's not a big risk for him. I mean, he has Zyra, he pokes hard, he flourishes, but in the mid lane, they picked Ahri into Corki. Corki, we talked about him being really safe. Do you think that's going to go well for Pleasure?
Well, we see the Corki doing the standard exhaust into mid lane, so this Ahri is not going to have nearly as much assassination pressure. She does have the Ignite, so opting into the offensive summoner spell, but even through the Ignite, I think that Corki, with the exhaust, will be able to just kite away Ahri, dodge enough skill shots, and then just live through any burst she throws at him.
Hopefully that's the case. Now we have about 3 minutes to break this down and really sort of, essentially sort of talk about exactly how we're going to think this game goes at all points. We already talked about top, mid, bot, but who's got the advantage going into these mid-game fights? I mean, there's a lot of lethality on both teams. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so we see the lethality picks coming out, Jhin and Misfortune. Now, the Vi actually might opt into getting some lethality herself, but That's kind of situational, and if she's snowballing. I'm not too sure if the Kled will want to get any of that and get on the lethality train. But, I mean, if... okay, so Vi's ultimate, you cannot stop it in any way except for Banshee's Veil and Spell Shields, which Edge of Night, a lethality item, does provide. So this Jhin is going to have a way to stop the Vi ulti, which is incredibly important, as stopping the Vi's dive is going to make her so much more useless.
Well, I've actually got a question. If he pops Edge of Night right as Vi ults him, does it finish channeling by the time she gets to him?
It depends how far she is. If she's really close by, it will not. If she does it from very far away, like max range, and then he runs away and possibly has to burn flash, he might get it just in time. But ideally, he would do it when Vi has an opportunity to go in and he sees that she's gunning towards him.
Well, we'll see if he can pull off the timing. I mean, it is a very, very knife's edge sort of proposition if you don't have proper vision, so absolutely important to keep track of this Vi. She's going to be a big factor, but Olaf, I mean, we haven't seen him in quite some time. He does run over teams pretty well if he snowballs, as does most of this team. I mean, if Ahri snowballs, if Kled snowballs, if Jhin snowballs, they all are very, very good at taking control of the early mid-game. What lanes is he going to focus on with this Olaf to try and get that snowball started?
Well, ideally, he would try to force out the quirky summoner spells and possibly get a gank off on the Shen if Shen is overextended. But if Shen is near the center of the lane, it is almost near impossible for him to get a kill or even force a summoner out of the Shen. So early on, Olaf isn't going to really be able to do too much, as both solo laners on the side of SKT have a mobility spell, which kind of just shuts down the Olaf. But later on in the game, he will be able to just run through the Vi, run past the Shen, and completely just dive that Misfortune pick that does not have any mobility. So if he can take her out during team fights, then they will be losing a ginormous amount of damage.
Alright guys, well we're about to load into game. We're going to go to a short music break, and then we'll be right back with this fantastic game between ALK and SKT. Alright guys, we're back. We're about to get into the game. 1 sec while we load on in. Sorry about this. It is taking a little bit longer than usual to get everything into game, but we are finally here, and we're here with a vengeance. This is still SKT versus ALK, and this is going to be a good match, I think, with Nabi in the top lane for ALK, Das Boers in the jungle, Pleasure Yourself in the mid lane, 3 pounds at AD carry, and Alpha Heretic at support.
Yeah, and over on the red side we have SKT with Astico 100, Big Boy Jambo, CAWL, Amy, and Davy Cricket.
Yeah, and a little bit of early damage by the Corki, but again, it's all about whether or not this lineup pops off. I mean, we're talking about 4 very heavy snowball-reliant champions, and Das Boers has to enable all of his lanes. I mean, not a single one of his lanes does well even or behind. They need to be ahead for them to really take over.
Yeah, and you see that they have a very high amount of pick and assassination, as the Jin W can snipe from very far away. The Zyra has pretty good lockdown as well. The Ahri, a great assassin, who has also really a large amount of wave clear. And then we have the Kled, who can kind of just, if they find someone out of position, just charge at them.
Yeah, as of right now, looks like pretty standard starts. Actually, Olaf starting on the blue, so possibly going for an invade, but interesting that he doesn't get his bot lane's assistance. That means that they get an earlier start, earlier shove on the wave in the road to 2.
Yeah, and this Olaf taking a long time to clear that blue buff, almost out of mana. He's going to get it back up because of the blue buff, but he's taking a very strange path, going blue to Grom. And he's going to be leaving his bot lane alone for a long time.
His bot lane doesn't need that much help, though, as we just saw MF take a large chunk of damage. This Zyra, even without the plants, she is incredibly scary in the early game.
Yeah, but we see this pathing from the Vi. She's going into the lower jungle, as she knows that Olaf didn't leash. And it looks like she's actually going for the invade.
With Olaf in the topside jungle, this should be a free red buff and a long road back into the game for him. He's going to need to try and get his double buff somewhere else, because if he doesn't get it from this red, where is he going to get it? I mean,
it's not in the bush, though.
Health,
he might walk up and smite it.
He could walk up and smite it, and
he walked up and smited it!
Boers gets it free of charge. He shows up, picks the red up, and unfortunately for Jumbo, that's not what you want to see. Flourish landing, though, on Davy Cricky. Heal forced out, and that's a very early summoner forced out of Amy. No benefit either for her, as, I mean, without that, just she wasn't missing health, she wasn't missing any kind of damage, she wasn't in a trade, and so to take that early summoner, it just gives this Jhin so much more agency over the lane.
Yeah, and this Vi, the bot lane was pushed up so far, and she was looking for a gank probably after the red buff, but she did not drag the red buff all the way into the bush, and she didn't even smite it when it got low, allowing the Olaf to just pick it up for free. And look at this lead in CS, 13-3 in the jungle. This Olaf is just going to become a monster. If he can get ganks off, or just somehow force Vi out of everywhere she wants to be, because of this lead he has.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. There's no wards in the bot side for any of this lane. They don't have anything. Flourish lands Amy in a little bit of danger, but Das Boers is not in position to start the engage, so he cannot follow up now with Astico getting aggressed on Nabi. He's learning very quickly why the Shen is a great pick into this Kled, and he just can't get the auto attacks off in that field, but landing another bear trap, some good damage, but he's still just barely mounted.
Yeah, the Spirit's Refuge from Shen blocks the auto attacks from Kled, and since Kled has violent tendencies...
Ooh, Flash probably got to get forced out. He doesn't even use it. CW goes down first blood to Das Boers.
Yeah, and these are some of those few times that Olaf can actually get a good gank off, is when they're very far pushed up. But
like right now, Nabi, he's pushed as well, but Jumbo doesn't land that breaker. He needed the vault breaker to connect if he wanted to get the kill, but now Olaf is shadowing the Vi as he comes up, and the Kled is back and remounted, slays down Astico. Now Jumbo, 1 versus 2. I don't think he can stick around, at least not for very long, and he does back on out. Gonna try and clear up this wave, though.
Yeah, Astico getting a little bit greedy, chasing down Nabi after he got him unmounted and got the flash. So, losing his life for it, no flashes up in the top lane, and now since Kled has a gold lead, he might actually be able to bully around the Shen, which was a somewhat favorable matchup for the Shen beforehand.
Yeah, he really needs that Black Cleaver, though. Before he gets it, it's still in the favor of Shen, and if Sunfire is completed first, it's still going to be a very, very tough lane, but as of right now, with not even a Ruby Crystal, no Bombies, no Ruby, and no health to play with, he's going to have to rely very heavily on that Refuge.
Yeah, Kled isn't backing yet, which I find strange, as he would have a very nice back time right now. Very nice.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, perfectly shoved under the turret, 1,500 gold to his name.
Yeah, he's staying. He's backing now. No, he's staying because he can't back anymore. He just lost his back opportunity, and now Shen actually has an advantage in the lane, as Kled hasn't been able to recall and get items yet.
As soon as he does, of course, he's going to have a great advantage, and with 6, maybe he's looking to make a play, try and get a roam on, but I'd just wait until you get some items, you know, stack it up, then go for it. But as of right now, game has slowed down considerably, only sitting on about 1,500 gold lead, but first objective will really tell what happens, how this is going to change, because right now 3 pounds in Alpha Heretic, every time they get shoved in, they land more damage, and the Flourish landing, Heretic traded back on, though, some good damage from Amy, but it's not enough to win the trades.
Yeah, we see the bot lane from Alpha Kitten just having an incredibly high amount of poke with the Zyra and the Jhin. The Jhin able to lock down a target near the Zyra plants, just allowing for consistent DPS, but the misfortune, if she's able to land those double ups, as we just saw, she does so much damage with those.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane amounts of damage, especially if it kills a minion. It just takes away a third to almost a half of your health at level 1 through 5, and that's just going to get stronger as she starts to get these items, this lethality building up. Has Dirk, though, so already big part of that Ghost Blade is secured, so we'll see if she tries to go for the engage right now, though. That Vision Ward in the brush, maybe it's... yeah, it's enough to spot, but will he make the back time in Jumbo? He's warned that there's an Olaf possibly nearby, but they instead ward out and then ping off.
And we see how much control this Olaf has in the mid lane, though.
Ulting. Pleasure seems to want the fight, but even if he Spirit Rushes, I don't think he can solo out this Corki before he kind of gets killed for it. It's really going to take a lot of damage, and as of right now, Amy trading back and forth. Alpha Heretic so low, but
she gets a double
are back
up here.
Across the board.
Alpha Heretic was almost in position to get hit by Amy's double up. And that would have been a kill, as when Misfortune last shots a minion with her Q, it will deal critical damage. So if someone is standing behind a minion that is dying, and she lands a double up, and it bounces, that will be at least 200 damage onto that target.
Especially because the Zyra has, like, barely double digits
very squishy
of
early
armor.
on,
I mean, it's almost nothing, and Estico going for another duel onto this Kled. He has a Phage to his name, but does he have enough damage? It's possible. Going for the unmounted finish, and maybe he can get it. Estico throws the lance through, but even the sword cannot save him, falls on it himself, and the first solo kill picked up by Nabi. Actually, second solo kill. He was 1 versus 2 when he picked up the other one.
Yeah, and he didn't get punished for not recalling, was able to back later on, had enough money to buy the Phage, and then comes back to lane and bullies. He's not recalling again, which I disagree with, as he's not going to be able to finish off the tower.
But maybe he sees something. Maybe he thinks he can get this
advantage. He can bait Big Boy?
Yeah, there's no Olaf in sight, though. If he starts baiting in Jumbo and the Shen TPs, and he stands united with his Vi, I mean, even then, so you use the Shen Summoner, but his TP's back up by then. I mean, then he still has more damage, and now maybe the catch, Flourish, and the curtain calls for Amy. Even with the heal, I don't think he's going to live, and 3 pounds picks that up. Good kill, but now onto CW. Has to Valk over the wall, or else he's going to go down.
Yeah, and the Shen not using the Stand United in the bot lane was kind of strange, as even if the Kled stops his ultimate, he does protect his teammates, and I don't think Kled was you know,
in position to
Shen
do
was
so.
far enough forward to not want to use the ulti. He was safe enough, like, I think he was under the tower. So, not using the ultimate, I don't know if he wasn't watching the bot lane, or if it wasn't communicated, but the Stand United probably would have saved Amy there.
Yeah, it probably would have, but again, there was an Olaf charging in. It's still a very risky proposition, so for now, taking the safer, slower road, but as Pleasure goes in, he has to be exhausted, and that's a very big slam. Vi comes back from the grave to get it done, and although, keep in mind, that was Corki's exhaust, that was a fully exhausted Ahri that still almost killed him, and Assault and Battery barely saved his skin.
Yeah, but we saw Ari burned Ignite, Flash, and the Spirit Rush. Those summoners are going to be down for, 3 to 5 minutes. So, well, it's 3.5 on the Ignite, and then 5 minutes on the Flash. So Ari's not going to be able to bully around this Corki for probably the rest of this laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, at this point,
And
it's
then
so
top
hard to
lane
actually get
again.
revenge on it. And, oh, Jumbo's here, though. Knocks Kled off the mount. Now, he has to finish it. Flash down. Even with the red buff, he has to chase in, and Olaf is responding on the other side. Das Boers gets one, and Kled gets out. 1-for-0 overall, and the ganks mirrored on the opposite side. The Olaf
I think
makes it
Jumbo
work.
could have had it there.
Yeah,
As
if he
Kled
had
was dismounted and had no movement speed.
he really had to go for it. I mean, if you risk it and then don't get the kill, it feels so wasteful, and you really need to get that rolling. You really need to stop this snowball, because the Olaf, he's 2-0, the Kled's 2-0, and Jin's even starting to get kills.
Yeah, and we already see a almost 3,000 gold lead, plus an Ocean Drake on the side of Alpha Kittens. It's going to be hard for SK2 to respond to this.
Yeah, as of right now, it's definitely on the hard side for the for them to really come back. 3,000 gold at 11 minutes is no lead to shake a stick at.
Yeah, the hard side to say the least. We do see this Corki getting his items though, and once he gets the Triforce, he will be doing a very large amount of damage, and oh my lord. The Stand United came out. Wait a minute.
Azteca wanted to get in on the action, but he just got stopped right before he managed to get it off from the Kled with the Bear Trap. Level 10, almost 2 levels up. Now Curtain's calling, but will Amy be able to dodge? Yeah, Happy Feet into the bush, safe for now, but this is chaos reigning.
Yeah, I'm not too certain why Astico used the Stand United on Amy there, as she was out of combat and safe. So maybe just a late response, as maybe they were calling for it a few seconds before he ultied, and then didn't need it, but he thought, oh, I still have to ulti.
Ooh, that's
And
what we were talking about in terms of
Zyra.
the damage. Amy still wants it, but the Stranglethorn stops the engage. Davy Cricky.
Oh, but the Olaf is in position to counter gank.
He is, but the Vi
Looks
is
like
here
they're
as
gonna
well.
pull
It's
out,
turning into
yeah.
a 3v3 in the bot lane. Do they know Das Boers is here? This is the question.
They
If
did not
know
see him
he's
in.
Here, then sometimes you get a feeling, though. It's not always about clean vision lines. And if they sort of sniff this out, it'll be great. But he just gives up, walks out, doesn't want to waste time now going for a risky yank. Maybe he does. They're still lurking around here, still turning it into a 3v3. They know Vi is here now, but without Amy.
I don't like that Das Boers is still staying here. They
He
saw
has
the
to get
MF
something
recalled
going.
because he was too low. I mean, there's nothing he can really get. They can't dive 3v3 in the bot lane. And they know Vi's on the bot side, so it's likely that the bot jungle is cleared out. So he just walked through the jungle, got nothing. I mean, both junglers spent about a minute there doing really nothing, getting nothing from it. And Das Boris could have just pushed his advantage and gotten even more money.
Right now, though,
But now he might
he's
get
gotta
money.
catch Jumbo. He's punching his way out, but will it be enough? They still have a couple ultimates remaining. Davy Cricky, with the speed and the zone, keeps him safe, but that could have easily been Olaf turning on the gas, Ragnarocking in, and still finishing the kill.
You have to remember, though, that the Quirky has the package.
True.
So that's a very, very strong ability right now. And they basically just want to wait this out. Don't look for any fights. Don't force anything in the meantime. Because if they do, the Quirky's going to split your team, basically drop a mini Rumble ulti on top of you guys, and then just rip apart Alpha Kittens. So showing respect to CWL on the Quirky was really nice there.
Oh, Corky roaming bot, CW. Looking for a possible kill. He spots out Alpha Heretic, and now he turns on the damage, but even with the Foss Bomb, I don't think he can finish the kill. Alpha Heretic, he's running away, and he does manage to make it happen with the last rocket that he fires. It brings down Zyra, and that was a great roam, great timing, right as 3 pounds backed.
Yeah. A near-perfect play, although he did Valk a little bit too far to the right and pushed the Zyra away. If he pushed her... If he aimed it to the left and then pushed her to the right, it would have cut her off, and then it would have been a guaranteed kill. And he wouldn't have to risk almost losing the kill, but it works out in the end.
Yeah, as of right now, though, Astico, he knows that he has to
Finding
make
Big
something
Boy
happen.
again.
And Jumbo gets caught again. Every single time he tries to invade, it seems like there's a response from Boars, but as of right now, the roams are just coming all over the place, and with 2 members in the bot side, keep your eye on this, because Davy, Cricky, and Amy, do they know they're here? Yeah, they're standing directly on a ward. Pleasure, he knows what's up, and they finally put down a control ward, scan the bush out, and realize the error of their ways.
Yeah. Just before that, though, Big Boy Jumbo walking into the jungle again, not knowing where Das Boars is, and walking blind into the jungle is extremely risky. I mean, we saw he's getting chased out all the time, as the Olaf is almost double the CS in the jungle. And he's really just going for blind invades, disrespecting the Olaf.
Ooh,
and in the bot lane, though, Davy Cricky.
Yeah, this is not what you want to be seeing, because Flourish is all that matters right now. This Jhin is just controlling the lane. Zyra, CC chaining it up, and those roots are grasping at straws. Davy Cricky gets caught, trips in his feet, and really falls face first into that Stranglethorn. It's just so much damage being burned, and they have plenty left. They still have the calling. They still have the curtain call. Or sorry, the curtain call and the
But now it looks like
exhaust.
there's a 3v3
Stop it,
going to happen in the bot lane, and the Corki has Triforce. He's going to have a lot of damage. Using the Valk in!
Oh,
he's not going to have it
CW's
anymore.
in, but with him flashing out, the Shen's not going to be in position either, and Jumbo, even if he pursues, I think he should have punched Heretic, does not land the Vault Breaker onto Das Boars, and here comes the bullet time. Both ultimates are down, the cones are flying everywhere, and CW looks for a kill, cannot finish it under the turret. Das Boars, though, gets brought down, and it turns into a 1-for-2 for SKT.
Yeah, and we saw that the Corki, even though he aggressively Valked in, was still able to kite away from the Olaf and not die, which meant that he got consistent damage while being very close to the enemy team. And we saw how they all just got whittled away by the Triforce, but in the top lane, Astico got picked off during those shenanigans by Navi, and top tower is also gone now. So the Kled is just straight up winning and is looking like the shining light for Alpha Kittens.
Yeah, as of right now, definitely a shining light, but Pleasure wants a piece of this Corki. The exhaust is down. The last charge is used, a Spirit Rush, and he does manage to pick that up, but with Vi here, he's not going to make it out alive. Surely he can't, although, I say that, it's a little bit too early to call it because he does make it out. Pleasure gets out alive. I have no idea how, but no summoners were able to take him down.
Yeah, the charm stopping the Vi from auto-attacking, and while Vi still chased, did not get those autos off, not proccing the denting blows, and not getting the kill. So, I mean, we see these mid laners on the side of Alpha Kittens getting solo kills. And both towers in the solo lanes are now taken out on the side of SKT.
Kled
And
pursuing,
Jumbo,
though, with Jumbo under fire. I mean, these are undertows after undertow. Axes do find their mark, and Das Boars brings another kill into this game, but with Nabi under the turret, he's looking for a fight, and he gets it. They even bring the turret down to boot. It is just Alpha Kittens all over the map, 10-4 at 18 minutes.
Yeah, we saw the game was slightly shifting in favor of SKT, but it has gone straight back to Alpha Kittens. They have now around a 7,000 gold lead, and while both teams have an Ocean Drake, we see how strong this Olaf is. I mean, he just bullied Jambo right out of his jungle. The scores are kind of deceptive, as you see 3-1-1 and 2-1-1 in the jungle. Looks pretty similar, but you see the CS lead, and you see that Olaf actually has a 16,000 or 1,600 gold advantage.
Hold that thought, though,
And
because
now
Astico is actually engaged upon, and the Stranglethorns will knock up too. Ari looking to put out the damage under the turret, but he actually swaps onto CW and brings him down the Corki, dropped in the jungle, and now the flank is off. But Alpha Kittens are still here, and they're still hungry for the turret. They don't have Stranglethorns, but they have a couple more ultimates left. The bullet time, it's already been used, and now the curtain call could come down, but they just want to back off. They want to take it, reset, make it slower, and now Baron up in 5.
Yeah, and looking at this team in Champ Select, we thought that Alpha Kittens, it was going to be bot-centric, as the Jhin and Zyra have a very, very large amount of pick. But we see all the lanes coming up big for them. And I mean, did any lane even really lose? It's just a complete sweep across the map.
Yeah, we were talking about how these lanes needed to go ahead, they needed to get the early lead, and then they could snowball, and so far they've done a very good job of just that, so keeping that in mind, maybe they can make this a little bit more interesting, but as of right now, it is Alpha Kittens all the way down.
Yeah, and we see the Cloud itemized towards a Sunfire Cape. Normally it is pretty standard for a Cloud to get Titanic Hydra early on, but the Sunfire Cape, Shen cannot block that with his Spirit's Refuge, I believe. So he will get that AoE damage down, and he will be able to clear lanes, although not as fast as with the Titanic Hydra.
I mean, he could still go for a Hydra in the end. I mean, this is not by. Oh my gosh! Absolutely annihilated the Karma. We thought that that was a small catch, but Alpha Heretic makes it more. He just pops him where it stands in the flourish to pick it up. This is so much damage. You cannot risk getting caught out by the Zyra.
Yeah, and we see the Zyra already has a needlessly large rod. I don't know what she's building towards. Maybe a first item Rabadon's Death Cap. But strange itemization from the Zyra. I slightly disagree with it, but we saw that damage from that needlessly large rod come out there and just melt through Davy Cricket.
Alpha Heretic, he wants to bait, but with Das Boars in the bush, they're not going to bite. They still have turrets to fall back on, but with all the outers down, it is looking a little bit bleak for the sexy Kamikaze Turtles. They are a little bit behind, a lot behind in fact, with almost 10,000 gold separating the two teams.
Yeah, and please excuse me for saying SKT instead of sexy Kamikaze Turtles every time, as that will become a mouthful very quickly. But we see that all the lanes are being shoved in, and that the, oh god, Alpha Kittens, excuse me, are just going through the jungle of SKT and setting up wards and getting control. And this next Ocean Drake should just be free for them in about a minute or so.
Oh, engage Davy Cricky again, finding that he is caught, but the roots don't land, and this time the curtain call should be able to be blocked out. They dodge one, dodge two, but even with blocking that, still taking a lot of damage from that fourth shot. Jumbo now at half HP, CW caught, flourish, plants, and now the Shen ult forced out, and with Navy under the turret, they can keep going. This is a big time for bullet time, but even then, the Stranglethorns are still going to knock up two, and they start to go away, but with Navy on low HP, now dismounted, I don't think Alpha Kittens can continue to pursue. They've got to start backing out, because SKT are still hungry, they've got health bars, and they're looking for a fight.
Yeah, both teams have an Ocean Drake, so they will slowly sustain up. But even though that dive looked so good for Alpha Kittens at the start, all the members were brought really low, and the target prioritization wasn't done properly throughout the team. So we saw 3 members dropping to below 500 HP instead of, you know, another 2 or 3 kills. And although they don't win the fight, it looks like they're still going to get the Ocean Dragon. They don't lose the fight, Alpha Kittens, so they're just going to get this, reset the lanes, push all the waves in, and just keep on sieging.
Yeah, as of right now, it looks pretty good if you're an AK fan. You need all of this to go right, and so far it is. The early mid-game looking fantastic for them. They've got the item spikes, they've got Ghost Blades and Black Cleavers, and possibly soon a Baron. I mean, this is the next objective that they'd be looking for. They shove the opposite side, rotate back, hopefully take it, and then use it to really crack the base open, really get themselves a firm grasp on these inhibitors.
Yeah, and this Corki has now lost his really big power spike in the Triforce, and since people are starting to get defensive stats, we see the RA having a Zanya's, and, you know, Dead Man's Plate coming out, a lot of health on the Kled. You know, there's not going to be many targets for him to go for. You know, he can't really dive in and get the Jhin and the Zyra. So this Corki is just going to have to play back, just play like a standard DPS, and he's not going to really utilize the burst that he has. Yeah,
as of right now, he can't exactly 1 versus 1 team, and he really does need the second and third items, as you said, to make a big impact on this.
Yeah, also the Vi went straight for Warrior Enchantment, And Amy, oh my
popped
god.
again. They have so much CC, so much catch potential, and they use it to the best of their abilities. Pleasure picks up a double kill. When we thought that they were safely out, turn on the gas. ALK are looking for a turret. They're looking for a second one possibly, and they're hungry for this win.
Yeah, and we see how this pick comp has been coming up big. They have such a cohesive comp, just tons of pick, and then for team fighting, they have the Olaf and the Kled. So once they get those picks and get ahead, they can just charge in there. Olaf is going to Ragnarok and just mow down people.
Yeah, he is mowing them down, but as of right now, with the Kled TPing into the bot lane, they're starting to pressure multiple lanes. This is the start of split, and the Kled can handle himself in that 1 versus X lane. It's just a matter of how long can this siege last, how much can they actually get from this split. Apparently the answer is a kill.
Oh my gosh, the Kled is becoming insanely strong very quickly. Opting towards more defensive, though, than I would like to see. I would have preferred to see a Titanic Hydra come out, maybe even another bruisery item for the Kled, maybe like a Maw or a Deadman's or something. But opting more towards defensive stats, a Spirit Visage, saying, hey, we need tanks, we have enough damage, we're just gonna I'm gonna play it safe, build defensively, and then I'm so tanky, I can just dive people under towers anyways. I don't even want more damage, so...
Astico gets a ward near the Baron, but they have control over the pit in more ways than one right now. It's all about this objective. Do they go for a contest, or do they just let it fall? I don't think that they're going to want to contest right now. They don't have exactly enough strength to do so, but if they risk it, could they get the pick? Could they start this fight? Right now, MF, though, not even on the right side of the map.
Yeah, and Alpha Kittens, they see MF on the bot side. They could even maybe want to pressure out the Baron. It looks like they're going to start it.
Yeah, MF starting to make her way up to the Baron, but it is chunking down very, very quickly. 7,000 health. Keep your eye on this team, though. Possibly going to come in. Curtain starts to call. 3,000 HP left on the Baron. Jumbo maybe going to punch over the pit. Has to use this Vault Breaker if he wants to get in. And it's 600 health. It's shut down. And who picked up the Baron? It looks like...
And Miss Fortune got it!
Fortune picking it up. Amy picks up the Baron, and it's all going wrong for Alpha Kittens. They're just getting slaughtered in the pit. They pick up a double kill. 4 members have fallen. 3 make that. The 4th got out. Das Boers with the skin of his teeth. But 3 kills and a Baron for no members lost.
They were too slow with the execution. They saw Amy bot, but took about 15 seconds to decide, hey, we should go for it. And that allowed Amy with the Misfortune, having the strut passive, the strut passive, to just run up, catch up to her team, and then team fight. And it was a clean fight. They get the Baron, they get kills, they even get towers out of this.
Yeah, 2 turrets
this has just become a game.
Up the mid lane. It's gone from no chance at all to very much a game. I mean, this is 6k apart from the 12 it used to be. Absolutely insane power play.
Yeah, and we have to see how they utilize this Baron, as they have gotten 2 towers. This opens up the jungle, and now they can maybe even play aggressively. I mean, we saw how much damage this MF can do, and she didn't even have the Black Cleaver yet. So she's got gold now. They have Baron buff for even more stats, and this is their time. Once that Baron buff is off, though, they will not have nearly as much strength. So they need to utilize this, and we have to see what happens when this clock is ticking down for them.
Yeah, they really do need to capitalize on something, but as of right now, they need the picks. They need to start equalizing the gold out with some kind of an advantage, as you were talking about, but where do they find it? What do they go for? What's the next thing on the table?
I mean, really, they should just be... Oh my... Astico.
Okay, Astico. Found a Zyra in the jungle. 1 versus 1 turret. Thank you very much. Picks up another free kill. And I'm not going to say it was gifted, but it certainly looked like it had a bow wrapped on top. That was a very, very clean pickup for him. Now Jambo, he was looking for an engage, but even with the assault and battery, he can't find the kill onto Ahri.
And we see that Alpha Kittens are kind of just at a loss for rotations, as after that Baron play, they're just confused about what to do. We see them kind of just splitting off and getting picked off, but Nabi in the top lane is just getting a free tower in the meantime.
300 smited away with CW in the backline. They're actually trading backlines, it looks like. And with that, top turret will drop to Nabi, but can they escape from this Corki? He's still hunting down Pleasure behind him and trapping them in between the team. Now Amy picks up one. They get Daspors as well. It's a double kill. It's all going wrong. And if you're an SKT fan, raise your hands. They're all on the march down the mid lane.
Yeah, Monte Cristo would be proud, as SKT is doing very well right now. They have swung this game back in their favor. The gold lead has been dwindling and dwindling. It's only 5,000 now, and the percentage gold lead has just become so much smaller.
Stranglethorns, though, be careful of the damage. Still has a turret, still has a Kled afoot. And now, with Amy getting pursued, make that CW, Nabi, so much health to play with, but it doesn't look like he even wants the fight. Starts to back on out. Flourish still on the Jumbo, and they don't save him with the Spirit Visage. Knock Nabi off the Kled, but that's just a dismount. It's not a kill, and they have to give up the inhibitor, give up the Ghost, as they are chased out of the base by AL.
Yeah, they got a little over-aggressive there. And they're only going to get the tower, not the inhib, which is kind of important, as the inhib will allow the super minions to go down the mid lane. But we see a giant bot wave that is sitting there, ready to pick up for a carry, and Astico up in the top lane getting a tower, means that the gold is even more in their favor. So a slight hiccup, having the Vi die there, but they do get a lot, and watch this MF's gold go up. She's going to get a couple hundred gold off of this, and she's going to get her Edge of Night.
She's actually up on the Corki in terms of overall, up on the Jhin and Ahri in terms of overall gold. He has so much gold to his name that this is just ridiculous. I mean, with 11,000, 2K in the pocket, that's perfect.
Yeah, he's going to get his Edge of Night, maybe pick up another component towards the next item. I don't think he has enough for his next item, no, but maybe grab a control word or two. No, not going to do that. Not saying I'm in ADC, I'm not going to play the vision game. That's your job, guys. But gonna get that damage,
ADCs
definitely.
have been laughed at enough in 2017. We don't need to ward. That's not our job. But Daspors actually does get out Ragnarok to turn it around, and Jumbo now is in a lot of fights. The package is here, but it's just not mattering. With shutdowns are coming through. Pleasure goes into the back lines, and they stop the MF temporarily, but that's just a little bit of damage, a little bit too much as Astico starts to clean up. Both sides of the fight are going awry. Daspors almost goes down. They shut down the MF. They shut down the Olaf, but Astico shuts down the Jhin. Double kill for him, and they turn it around in the mid lane. Pleasure takes down one, and it's just going left and right and center, 4 for 3. ALK come back temporarily.
Yeah, very split fight. We saw the Corki use this package, but he just died. He didn't immediately Valkyrie out, so he got picked off, and not getting enough value out of the package for his life. And then Amy just walks up and uses ulti, but she did an Edge of Night before using the ulti. So we saw the ulti get immediately cancelled, and just Amy, on the misfortune, just immediately forced to back off.
Yeah, just not what you want to be seeing if you're MF. You got to pop that Edge of Night early, got to make sure that you're safe, but team cannot keep her that safe from this many dive champs. When you have Kled plus Olaf plus Ahri, it's all just stacking on top of each other, and it's crazy amounts of damage.
Yeah, speaking of Edge of Night, the Jhin does not have his Edge of Night yet. He went Yomu's into Infinity Edge, so not going for the early magic resistance against the Corki and not having the Edge of Night for the Vi, I disagree with that, as he does not need the damage. He needs the survivability, in my opinion. But it looks like he will have it soon, and probably in time for the Baron, which is spawning in 20 seconds.
Alpha Heretic is slowed down. That's such a big shot. Holy crap, Amy with the damage. You cannot disrespect the double up. That was 3/4 of his health. If it had crit any harder, he would have just died instantly, and they're actually going to use that to turn towards this Baron. It's back up in 3 seconds. What can Alpha Kittens do? They need to be here. They need to be responding to ASKT.
Yeah, and we see 2 members from Alpha Kittens in base. So if this isn't stalled out by Alpha Kittens, SKT will get this Baron, and it looks like they will disengage the Baron.
They don't want to make the same mistake Alpha Kittens did. They don't want to make it. They know that they lost the Baron. They only won the Baron because they made a mistake, and if they did the same, it would be all but over. Now with inhibitors and inhibitor turrets, the only thing standing between them and the Nexus, it's a very risky time. You got to consider everything when making a Baron play and really weigh your options.
Yeah. Yeah, if they committed to the Baron there, they might have finished it in time, but they all would have been stuck in the pit, and they probably would have lost the fight immediately afterwards. The curtain call, though.
Davy Cricket actually charmed up, brought down. Navy starts it off with the Olaf charging in, headlong, headstrong. Maybe they can do it, and they do charm up Amy. Second time in a row that ultimate has been cancelled, and Astico has to make his way out with CW and Jumbo, the only ones with him to defend this base. They have to make it strong. They have to stay with it, but Pleasure, maybe he can get a kill, is going golden, but for how much longer? Astico's still there. He's still alive, and he's unstoppable on this Shen. So many kills are going his way, and even with Navy's bear trap, he's going to make his way out. Still alive for now, and the shove comes in. Siege is starting. Jumbo's here to interrupt it for a little bit, but with Navy hammering on the turret, so is 3 pounds. This is going to go down. First structure cracked open, and Jumbo, you can't stay there, man. You're just going to get brought to your knees, and they do finish off another kill. SKT, right when we thought they had the advantage, Alpha Kittens showed them who's boss. I think they have to
go immediately for the Baron, because the jungler is dead. Jumbo getting a little over aggressive there. Should have conceded the tower, maybe could have fought for the inhib when his team is up, but now it looks like they're setting up for a Baron. And are they going to go for it? They're taking their time. You don't want to allow them to respond to this, so you want to do it ASAP. And we see it's getting taken down fairly slowly, but the response, Elder Drake, they are deciding, you get Baron, we get Elder, we're going to win the fight before the Elder wears off, as it does wear off sooner.
Well, I hope that they can do it because they really need to make this happen. 2-drag Elder, not too shabby.
Amy used the ultimate.
But it's up on a really short cooldown when you have that much CDR. I mean, you take a look, that Youmuu's gives you 10%, Black Cleaver gives you 20, and his ultimate is up in like 30 more seconds. I mean, it's already almost up. Check that out. It's insane.
It's around a 70-second cooldown with all the CDR considered. So yes, it's not that big of a deal that it's going to be up soon, but the Elder Drake does not last that long, and every second matters with that Drake, as it is going to wear off before Baron. So they really need to be using their time wisely, as if the Elder Drake is out and the Baron is still up, there's going to be a very large window where Alpha Kittens have a sizable advantage.
Elder Drake has another 2/3 to tick away. There's only like 20 seconds left, but when you get Pleasure in that position, he doesn't even pop. Zanya's goes down before that matters, and CW with the package pick. He gets one. Now they're just shoving into the mid lane. They're forcing the backs out of AL.
Yeah, we see the Elder Dragon just giving them even more damage, more sustain. That Infernal Drake, that once measly little Infernal, has now become 2 Infernals, which is actually, oh my lord, the Corki.
Oh, it's close, but CW stands united underneath his Shen. He's still tanking it up. Davy Cricket actually gets brought into a disaster situation. 3 pounds with the flourish, with the tick damage, gets another one, and that's 3 kills on the backside of this fight.
And we see the teleport in the bot lane even.
Already got there, and the teleport in the bot lane means Navy will already start smashing onto this turret. It's the second inhibitor turret.
Are they looking to end the game?
4 versus 2. They could end this game. It might all be over here. The inhibitor looks to be falling over, but with Astico here, Jumbo as well. Maybe Navy stayed too long. Yeah, this could be bad for him, but even with the punch damage, he's going to make it out alive. That means the inhibitor is going to fall. The Nexus turrets are next in the line of fire, but can they be protected? Jumbo and Astico, a 2-man army against the world. Will this be enough? And Navy, no, he remounts and they take down Jumbo. They're about to take down Astico. That's going to be it. Even with the Karma up, this should be the end of the game. The second Nexus turret begins to fall, and Alpha Kittens look like they've done it. Even with the bullet time coming across, that's a lot of damage, but they have to make it more than that. Navy needs to be alive. He needs to take down this Nexus, and they do shut him down, but not after the Nexus falls. 39 minutes in, Alpha Kittens take a win.
Yeah, very good game from both sides, as we saw comebacks from both teams throughout that game. So a little bit of Game of Thrones there, but very exciting match to watch. And I'm going to be really excited to see how Game 2 pans out for these teams.
Yeah, Game 2 should be a fantastic set, but we are going to pause it for right now as we get that game number 2 set up. Don't go anywhere. Learning Fives will be right back. We are back, guys! It's Learning Fives. We're about to get underway with game number 2 of Alpha Kittens vs. Sexy Kamikaze Turtles. I'm still Zeta Beta. This is still Epic Death Guy, and we're bringing you game number 2.
Yes. So, for those of you guys new to Learning Fives, coaches can agree to do target bans. However, that was not agreed upon for the last match. However, response bans are allowed, so we see the Kled being banned out, as Navi was insane on that pick.
Yeah, you really can't let that go through, and after they picked up the first game, I think they're feeling pretty confident, even with the, slight hiccups that they had along the way.
Yeah, they had a very clean early through mid game, but then in the late game, Alpha Kittens faltered a bit, and SKT found their footing. So, it looks like the graphic isn't updated.
It
Alpha
should be
Kittens,
updated.
It is updated
now.
now, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alpha Kittens did win the first game, although SKT definitely had a really nice comeback. And we see the Jin first pick immediately coming out, now on the side of SKT, and the Misfortune pick now on the side of Alpha Kittens. So these picks are being switched around.
Yeah,
and
even with the Ash not banned, it's surprising that we see that. So, very, very interesting.
All right.
Das Boars with the classic hover on the Azir.
That Azir might actually be locked in, but not as an Azir.
It's not locked in yet. It's a classic Azir hover. He did this last game too.
I was told that it is actually a not locked in placeholder pick.
Okay.
So once it is locked in, I will leak the strat.
Got you. Got you.
And as the Azir is being locked in, that Azir is actually a placeholder for Zyra. So
Zyra again, but with the MF, I mean, it's a little bit different. The Jin doesn't get the same kind of CC chain that he was looking for last game, so SKT, they're going to have to adapt, find a new support to pair with that. Jumbo, he was deadly on the Vi. It's still up, available for him, but maybe he wants something that can control the game a little bit better. He didn't, after all, 100% control the game. It was a little bit back and forth between him and Das Boars.
yeah, I want to say I would have possibly liked to see the Zyra left open, as MF is just a natural counter to the Zyra, as her Q one-shots the plants and then can bounce and destroy someone behind the plant. So maybe a nice adaptation would have been to let them take the Zyra anyways, but MF Zyra definitely has a lot of poke. While they don't have any CC, they will definitely not have a rough time in lane.
Yeah, and swapping over, Astako's going to get his Shen again. I do like that pick. I really think he's a very quality Shen, and if he had just not fallen behind in the early game, I think this would have been a much, much different story. The Kled, after all, put so much pressure into those side lanes.
And this Amumu is not a placeholder pick, so we will have an Amumu jungle, which has a very strong amount of team fighting, so we could definitely see Curse of the Sad Mummy into the Shen taunt, locking down multiple targets for a very long amount of time, and against the Misfortune and Zyra, both immobile targets, those two diving tanks are going to be very, very big threats for them.
Yeah, keep your eye on those two. If they start to pop off, we are going to have a very, very dead team on the other side. They are absolutely insane at creating big zones of AoE that you really don't want to find yourself in.
Yes, so now we see the Teemo hover, and once it is locked in, Teemo is Yorick, and Janna is Rek'Sai.
Alright, so we got a Yorick top, something we haven't seen very much of, but is also a very good split pusher, and maybe showing himself to be proficient on those and knows where to be and when. Maybe he can do the same in this game, but against that Shen, it's going to be a very, very uphill battle trying to shove these waves out. He does have the Sunfire, he does have a lot of AoE if he goes for the Titanic build after it.
Yeah, so Navi definitely tends to favor split pushing a lot, so that Yorick does seem to fit his playstyle. And the only issue I have with their team comp is that Rek'Sai isn't the best of team fighters. Rek'Sai's really good at skirmishing, and I mean, the Unburrow can CC multiple targets, but not a lot of targets spread in a larger area, which MF would want to ulti. So if they can get picks with the Rek'Sai, that's nice, and if the Rek'Sai can Unburrow 3+ targets, that's going to be incredibly good, but it's very unlikely. So we see the Twisted Fate and the Braum coming out, and I don't think those are placeholders.
Yeah, this is
Definitely an amazing team fight comp with the pick from Jin and Twisted Fate. The only comment I have about their team, though, that I dislike is that they are very low in damage.
Yeah,
As
I
only
mean, if
Twisted
the
Fate and Jin.
TF falls behind at all, I mean, it's not necessarily the best at keeping ahead of the pack. I mean, it has to heavily rely on the roam, on picking up kills in a side lane to get those snowballing and guild into your mid laner. So if he can't, if they play safe enough that he can't find those picks, what's a TF to do? He's not going to win the 1v1 very often.
Yeah, and we see the last pick from the Alpha Kittens is Veigar, which I believe is a placeholder. So we will be relobbied in a second. And that is actually a Veigar, apparently. Just a Veigar. It's not a placeholder. It's actually Veigar mid.
Well, Veigar does have
So
some pretty good matchups into some of these champions, specifically anything that's, oh, I don't know, squishy and AP and, you know, the like, which we do have a couple of. So, yeah, pretty good pick
yeah, so
overall, I think.
we have a very good team fighting comp on the side of SKT, and we have a now with the Veigar that the cage, his E, actually can provide a very good ultimate for Misfortune. So there's actually really good team fighting on both sides, and although SKT has pick on 2 members, pick potential, they don't really have a lot of damage to follow it up. So there's a nice amount of globals and pick, but not a lot of damage. And on the other side, there's a lot of damage, but not a really great team fight tank. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these unusual picks play out.
Yeah, it's going to be, as you said, interesting. That is the key word. If anything is interesting, it's seeing new and innovative picks just to try and really get to the root of counterpicking. I mean, the essence of counterpicking is the enemy can't do anything, it's their comfort pick, and they still fall flat. So hopefully the Veigar achieves that. I mean, I'd love to see it played a little bit more. Always very interesting. Just to try and play around the stacking, play around hitting people with the double Qs.
Yeah, and I mean, Twisted Fate doesn't have an incredibly large range, so if this Veigar is able to drop the, what is his E called? I'm going to refer to it as the cage for now, the Veigar E. If he is able to drop the Veigar E around the Twisted Fate and keep him in that area, Twisted Fate has no real way to get out. I mean, he can ulti out, I guess, but he's probably dead if he does that. So I do like the matchup for the Veigar, and I feel that this Veigar will have a safe lane and will be able to become a very large threat.
Yeah, I mean, alongside the fact that Rek'Sai is very good at CCing, she's very good at early ganking, could be a very, very dangerous lane for the TF, but Veigar can't really get kills in the super early game, so until he hits 6, still okay for CW to stick around, I think.
Yeah, and we see everyone just picking their champions that were picked from the placeholders, so everyone is just going for their own thing, which is why we're flying through pick ban, and we see the Warwick cover from Stixay yet again. But overall, the team compositions are very interesting. I keep using that word, but there really is nothing else to describe how interesting this is going to be. I mean, I really like the MF Veigar combo because the Veigar can place an E field for the Misfortune to ulti into, and there's no real way for the Jin, for the Twisted Fate, and, you know, to get out. Although the Braum, I didn't really touch on that actually. The Braum will be able to block that MF ulti. So a nice support counter pick in a way, denying that ADC. That
Yeah,
actually changes the dynamics of the team fight completely.
it's pretty interesting that he can block almost all of the MF ult, probably without dipping below about half health. The shield reduction still exists past first hit, and if he gets enough armor, I mean, then you're looking at a pretty low damage Veigar plus Zyra. Like, where's the sustain on the team after that? I mean, it's mostly a burst ADC anyway. If you take out the big ultimate that does most of the team fight damage, then the damage levels start to come into play and they get to be about equal. And with 3 big tanks on the side of SKT, gotta be a little bit worried on AL.
Yeah, and also the Veigar is not a great team fighter. So while you do have, the Veigar who can contribute to team fights, the Misfortune and the Zyra, really good team fighters, and the Rek'Sai, who can contribute fairly well as well. You have the Yorick pick, who just doesn't do that much in team fights. He kind of just walks around and slaps people with a shovel a little bit here and there.
Well, we have a slight delay before the game starts, so talk me through the matchup Yorick into Shen. How does it work? Who comes out on top?
Well, I believe it's kind of based on the interaction of Spirit's Refuge, Shen's W, with Yorick's ghouls, and does Shen's W block the ghouls? I'll get on that in a second.
Sorry about that.
But the Yorick Q does not go through the Spirit's Refuge, so Shen definitely, it's similar to the Kled matchup, he can actually block one of Yorick's abilities in a way. So that definitely makes it favored for Shen. And I'm
not...
can't get 100% certainty on that, but the ghoul damage isn't going to be the biggest factor, and the Yorick not able to auto-attack and use that Q in a 1v1 will negate a lot of damage. So it's definitely very similar to the last laning phase, and Azteco did lose the lane to the Kled, however. So, I mean, maybe we could see Nabi pull out the same stuff again.
Hopefully.
But I think that Kled does have more kill pressure than the Yorick will in this matchup. So I'm thinking it'll be a very kind of safe lane, and there's not going to be too much shenanigans. But I could be wrong, and there might be just some complete shovel fighting and sword slappage in the top lane.
Hopefully there is. Hopefully there's something supremely interesting, because as of right now, it's a very, very safe, very steady top lane. I mean, they're not guaranteed to win, but they're also pretty much guaranteed to not lose.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they come out of laning phase 1 or 2 kills behind, the Yorick is still going to become a split pusher. The Shen is still going to become the ulti shield, join the team, taunt people. He's still going to become tanky eventually. So there's no real threat, and there's no real, there's nothing really big to gain from ganking the top lane. So hopefully we see these junglers actually play around the mid lane, as there's 2 immobile mages.
Yeah, if they do play around that mid, maybe they can get something at least rolling. I mean, the TF at 6 isn't going to be in the mid lane anymore, so it's mostly about coordinating the TF with the Amumu and either splitting up your pressure or just
I don't think we touched on that a lot. Yeah, the 5-man bot lane from the side of SKT, the Shen ulti plus the TF ulti, if Amumu roams down, there's 2 global ultis that can just come in and join. So we could definitely see a 5-man bot lane gank, which would be very sad, to say the least.
Sad indeed. I mean, it would be almost heartbreaking, but we are going to go to a very short break while we load into game, and then when we get back, game number 2 of SKT versus ALK. Alright guys, we are back. It's game number 2 of SKT versus ALK in what is shaping up to be a very good match.
Yes, we have some interesting picks coming out as well. The Veigar pick and the Yorick pick, which we haven't seen too much of in L5 show matches. I know a few players have liked the Yorick, but definitely an interesting pick to see.
Zyra knows the Brahms here. Doesn't know if there's anyone else lurking in the bush, so not really wanting to capitalize on that, but hoping for some level 1 shenanigans, just like last time.
Yeah, there's nothing really out of the ordinary with keystones either. Starting items,
Ooh, good ward.
I want to make note that the Rek'Sai opted into the Hunter's Machete, and I believe it has been like this for a while. I don't know if it has changed. The Rek'Sai actually favors starting with the Hunter's Talisman, as she has a lot of AoE on the queue.
Generally, yes. That would be
I
the
think that
traditional
the
Rek'Sai
Hunter's
start.
Machete might have become more favorable, though, recently. I'm not exactly certain, as it has been decades since I've played jungle. But it actually tends to be Machete favored recently in jungle, so I stand corrected on that. I apologize to you, Das Boris, the almighty jungle god.
Well, he's definitely done his pro builds research. He knows what they're playing, knows how it works, so hopefully he knows exactly when to use this Rek'Sai to the best, because if he can make this happen, if he can swap the jungle pressure to his side.
Yeah, and we see both junglers starting at their blue buffs, very similar to last game.
Means Das Boris could have another invade this time, but he is dropping pretty low. This is quite unusual for the Rek'Sai, at least when he used to do the Talisman start. You would be probably 3/4 HP before you even burrowed.
Yeah, he is getting a little bit low, but he has both of his refill potions still available, while Amumu already used one. So they are actually pretty similar in health right now. The Mumu is clearing fairly slowly, as he's going for a full topside clear. But around the 3:30 minute mark, we should see him head down, or he's going to be taking a very weird path. Now, I do want to keep an eye on this, because it looks like he's going for an early gank mid, but Veigar is very far back.
Well, he's close to the minion line. Pleasure spots him. Bandage toss not going to connect, so he misses out on that gank, but Das Boris is now up towards the top side. Astico spots this Rek'Sai. Can he get out in time? It looks like he will. That was just a little bit too close to the bush. The minions were so far pushed up that he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, those are some awkward ganks, to say the least. And they actually know that Das Boris is recalled. That's pretty good information for
Absolutely.
SKT. So both junglers actually doing some suboptimal stuff, in my opinion. Not pathing very efficiently. You see that both of them only have taken 2-3 camps, respectively. So, I mean, very slow start. And these junglers are, falling behind. Their solo lanes are going to be dinging 4 soon. They're only getting their double buffs now.
Yeah, and because they are a little bit behind, missing up ganks, having to back early, means that they're not going to be able to influence the bot lane, but they might not need to. Alpha Heretic is so low. Grenade not finishing it off. Exhaust is down onto 3 pounds, but with Amy pursuing, will he even manage to make it out alive? He does. No summoners are going to be blown besides that exhaust on the side of SKT, and they still come out on top, very much in the lead in this bot lane. Ooh, I say that though. Great double up from 3 pounds.
Yeah, we saw that double up on the side of Amy this game for 3 pounds, doing some incredibly high damage. And up in the top lane, looks like Nabi's getting really low.
Jumbo
The Shen is trading very well.
was the one on the opposite side of this pathing last time, but Das Boris has made his way down, and Davy Cricky very, very low. Double up, healed away, and that's forcing out all of the summoners from the bot side. Still have flash and exhaust for ALK, but for right now, Alpha Kittens, they do manage to make it worth their while. I mean, that was a good path. And Das Boris again with the bot clear, just when Jumbo looked to invade, but this time they're on opposite sides of the map, so Jumbo's the one left looking for camps.
Yeah, I do want to touch on something though. Das Boars did not stay and help shove out the minion wave. This is forcing the bot lane from Alpha Kittens to have to stay for an extra wave, which is going to make their timing a little bit awkward. And this was kind of risky by them, but it looks like he might get CWL mid. No, just going to walk away.
It's close,
So this is, look at all these minions right here. If Dust Boris stayed and shoved that out, all that giant minion wave bot lane would have been denied from Amy, but Amy is now getting all of it, and actually has a CS lead now.
Top lane, Astico is getting aggressive, and right now the Shen is still taking the better of this Yorick. Not able to duel it out, not until he has a couple of items, and Astico is just ruling the roost. Boris comes in, though, with true damage, a light. He is looking for a good style, but taunting through him. That is just dodging out the Rek'Sai, and he still is confident to fight it out. Shen, Astico, he has cojones of steel, and they are paying off. He knows exactly how much damage he can take on the Shen, and when he can take it.
And I mean, you see the Shen pick. In this lane, against the Yorick has an auto-attack modifier on the Q, and he's gonna die maybe even.
Oh, so close, and there it is! Bandage for first blood. Jumbo on the perfect timed roam. Das Boars could not pick it up with the missile, and as a result, actually a stop there. Amy just gets doubled up through Davy Cricky. We just caught that in time, but it is just chaos. Trading 1-for-1 on opposite sides of the map means SKT, they don't get enough of a lead, but at least it's something. They're starting to make this happen, and with the Shen not falling behind Astico, I feel he's going to show up really big.
Yeah. Now, there was some slight wave mismanagement in the bot lane, as they didn't set up a freeze, Alpha Kittens, and they are slow pushing it. So, I don't know if they're going to push it in fast enough to deny this farm from Amy. It looks like it's not going to go under the tower, so actually Amy isn't going to be denied farm. They should have set up a freeze or fast push it, instead slow pushing it, or medium speed pushing it. Only Mach 1 there.
Yeah, it was below the speed of sound, really. That was it was a medium speed push at the best, but yeah, not a slow push either. A very untraditional style. So we'll see if they can really start to deny this, or if it's just going to get flung back in their face as soon as they try to recall.
I mean, yeah, like now look at the CS difference. There's almost none, right? 3 CS difference just based off of some like slight lash on skills, maybe. That's not what they should be doing. They should have either fast pushed it and then denied the CS, or set up a freeze and denied the CS. If they fast push it, they can also get a recall in, so that would have been the advantage there. But now in the top lane, though,
in the top lane, he's got no HP to his name, and flashing out actually dodges the last bit of the Yorick. Last rites, I guess it is called, but oh.
Did you see what happened in the bot lane?
I actually didn't.
Okay, yeah, in the bot lane. Oh my gosh, in the top lane too. Okay.
Yeah, top lane, CWL made his name known, but Napi got out alive for now. Had to burn a flash to do it. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, in the bot lane, 3 pounds on the Misfortune this game dropped the Make It Rain and the bullet time onto Davy Cricky, who's unbreakable. The shield came up just afterwards, and then Alpha Heretic followed up with some really nice skill shots on the Zyra for the follow-up kill, and now they're getting a Mountain Drake because of it.
Yeah, they do look like they have the Drake secure it with the smite, so that's pretty good, but this top lane, the Yorick, every single time it seems like he's down, he gets back up and just starts fighting it again. So close to being dead. Both of them are, actually. They're not playing with much health at all, but as of right now, at least the Yorick is shoving the wave out, it seems.
Yeah, and something to note, look at these solo laners. Both sides have very big CS differences. We see the Yorick up 30 CS, while the Twisted Fate is up around 12 CS right now. And this has led for some really big differences in the mid lanes. Each team has one, so this is going to have places for the junglers to go, but they're just going bot lane.
Down, and I don't think that they should have really gone that hard. They gave away their hand when Das Boars got revealed by that ward, but unfortunately for ALK, they actually managed to overcommit a little bit before they got the CC down, and the Stranglethorns, as a result, did not land in time, did not knock anyone up, and could not set up for Das Boars ganking.
Yeah. Now both of the red buffs are up, so we're going to see the junglers go to those. and then possibly gank the outer lanes. But the bot lane from ALK just backed, so they're gonna shove this in, and they might actually start getting denied CS. So there might actually be a CS lead for the side of SKT now. And while I am tunneling very hard on this bot lane wave management, it can play a very significant factor, as there could be 100 gold at least difference, even further. But in the top
when
lane,
the Maiden of the Mist comes up, Astico goes down, Nabi gets a kill. 1v1 the Shen to death, and the Sheen is putting in work. There's so much damage now coming out of this York, and you just have to respect it every single time, it seems. He is just underestimated, and that's not a great trend, but when Pleasure gets stunned, maybe the cards will hit. They don't land this time, and Rek'Sai, as a result, does not get to commit no TF going in with this one.
yeah, and that Maiden in the top lane, because I know for sure Maiden will not have her autos blocked, and Shen used the Spirit Refuge very early on to block a small trade, which allowed Nabi to commit all in, blow everything, and get the kill.
Yeah, they spot the Rek'Sai actually taking that scuttle, but I don't know if they can capitalize on it in time. Jumbo needs to be there, and he needs to be there quick in the bot lane, or even the mid lane. He needs to make something happen, though, and right now, it doesn't look like that is the case. Astico shuffling around the sword, but he's still getting out-traded. The Sheen damage is insane from Nabi, and as of right now, I don't think there's any way Astico could win this besides going under the turret. The double ups. Over 3/4 of... Sorry, it's over 300 HP per. And there we go!
My God.
The last slam is down and finished. Astico pays his price with his life. That was so much damage from the York, and it was off of a Q that he got taunted into.
Yeah, Yorick read Shen his last rights there and picks up the kill, and oh my, Zyra.
Zyra, though,
Getting a little aggressive,
careful
though, and
where
here's
you
the Amumu.
stand, because 3 pounds now is frozen into place as he's taken down. Jumbo picks that one up, and the stun will come across. Surely they're not going to let the Zyra live, but the Rek'Sai came in. Alpha Heretic now trying to turn it around. Jumbo on no HP. He's on 0 HP, in fact, and now CWL makes his entrance. It's a 3 versus 2 in the bot lane after being a 2 versus 3, and the ganks are coming out across the map. CWL, more stun cards available, more exhausts, still looking for another stun, but I don't think he can pursue under turret. He's just going to go down if he keeps going in.
Yeah, and the Veigar is now coming with 3 low health members.
Oh no, and 2 of them are
no.
stunned. That's a 2-man kill for the Veigar, and even with the stand united, even with the damage, it's just not possible. Maybe he has HP, but not very much of it. He's stuck around this long, and the Shen just came back to base. But this game is going out of control. SKT seem like they are taking off, taking flight, and just getting shut down at every single airport.
This was like some crazy next level Yu-Gi-Oh play. It was, I'm activating my trap card, I summon Twisted Fate, I activate my trap card, I summon Amumu, I activate my trap card, I summon Rek'Sai, and like just back and forth, members coming in one by one. We first saw the Amumu come to the bot lane, then the Rek'Sai, then the TF, then the Veigar, and I mean, it was just so back and forth. But we do see the Veigar comes out with 2 kills, and this Veigar, if he starts getting a lot of kills, that AP, he has permanent scaling, so he's going to become a very large damage threat very late in the game.
Yeah, the counter trap definitely paid a visit to the bot lane, and as of right now is just sitting pretty on a bunch of gold. He's actually still behind the TF because of that gold advantage in the CS that you were mentioning earlier, but across the board, it's the other way around for the rest of the team.
Yeah, but Nabi in the top lane has been doing some incredible work. 1,400 gold up, 2 kills, 2 deaths. Like, this Yorick he has shown he is comfortable on these split-pushing champions, the Yorick and the Kled, and he has been a very, very strong point for Alpha Kittens to revolve around.
Yes, he has, and he's
and
definitely
also,
shown
the team
up.
names at the top are reversed, so Alpha Kittens is actually on the blue team right now.
Oh, right. Sorry about that, but let me just fix that, because what happened was we actually have to do this all manually, so unfortunately.
And the Rek'Sai not getting the Moo kill, barely, and now it's getting turned around. CWL getting the stun down, saving Big Boy Jambo, and the Twisted Fate gonna get out, but the Veigar follows up.
No, not out for
the
long as the
Misfortune
bullet
ulti?
time brings him down. 3 pounds. 3 kills soon to be on him. 2, 1, and 2. He's got damage, but they've got Stranglethorns as well, with Amy just getting knocked up and thorned to death. Davy Cricket, he actually flashed in. He brings it to the man, and he just kills his bot laner. The double up on the flash. It was beautiful. It was timed, and it was calculated. 3 pounds. He must feel like a wizard after that one.
Please excuse me for getting a little hypey there, but that double up was perfect. It was the double up of dreams. Getting the kill, and then going to the second target with the crit damage, securing the second kill. Oh my, that misfortune damage can be insane sometimes, and right there, this MF is becoming big. 4-1-2, currently almost 2,000 gold up on the opponent. This bot lane is getting chipped away. They might not take it on this push. No, it looks like they will finish it off. Oh no, they are pulling away. Okay. But they're
really
going to get it very
let this
soon.
One rebound for some reason, and they force the wave out, force it one more time. But now Alpha Heretic, you gotta tank this up. Amy's trying to sneak the shots around, but Rek'Sai now in towards the bot lane.
And this tower might die, and they might go for a dive even. Oh,
have
they're not
to
getting the tower though. They have to
shove
hit
the
it
tower
first.
down, but it's going to be a 3 versus 3. Alpha Heretic. Very, very low if he sticks around. This TF is here,
Alpha!
and the cards are down! Alpha didn't even see that one coming in, and neither did we, as CWL makes his entrance into the bush. Right when you didn't expect him, he shows up in the last second of the recall and finishes off Zyra.
Yeah. Alpha kind of just overstaying, should have backed off immediately, not going to get the recall in time, gets it cancelled and gets taken down, and now the bot lane tower is taken from the side that we thought was going to lose their tower.
Yeah,
so
and that
there
is the second
the tower,
turret down, though. Unfortunately,
no, it's actually the third turret in the game. Yorick took 2 towers, and he's looking for his third.
Oh no, this Yorick is just split pushing the rest of the map down. As soon as they think they've made a good play, they realize Alpha Kittens, they haven't made a good play as a team, but individually this Yorick stepping up to the plate, Navy showing the world what he's made of.
Yeah, Yorick is one of the best split pushers, and now Veigar caught the Braum, and he blows the ultimate, not getting the kill though. That's actually very important, because that Veigar ultimate, it's on a 79-second cooldown right now, and he doesn't have that to blow up one of the squishies. I don't know why he committed it to the Braum there. The Braum wasn't in kill range, so my event
Jumbo
horizon.
right before he was about to contact the Veigar, and that's going to be a very dead, very sad Amumu, not even able to drop the tomb.
Veigar dropped the event horizon, and as soon as Amumu queued in, the event horizon fully channeled and stopped Amumu mid-queue. Because
On the
event
other
horizon
side.
does
If it didn't
now
stop him on the first side, he would have lived. But it stopped him on the other side of the wall. So that's a very, very unfortunate series of timings for this Amumu.
Yeah. Really well played by Pleasure Yourself, redeeming himself after the ultimate not picking up the Braum kill. And now, Nabi in the bot lane.
Amy actually stunned a little bit, but for now they just take one. With Astico down, they can start shoving in, and this Yorick is showing the world what it means to split push, what it means to play for the objectives. And he takes another tier 2 turret. At 19 minutes, we have 5 turrets down for AKT.
Yeah, and we see 3 pounds on this Misfortune pick. Lethality ADCs are the future, ladies and gentlemen, because this Misfortune is just incredibly strong right now. And that Veigar does not have any magic resistance to his name. He is itemizing towards a Frozen Heart, which I actually kind of disagree with, because there's not much auto-attacking from the damage dealers, the Veigar and the Misfortune. So I would have liked him to itemize more towards maybe, I'm not even exactly certain, possibly a health item, maybe. Oh my lord, the flash, the cleanse!
The Captain Jack cleanse, and then the ultimate tries to take CWL with him, but he's the only one getting sent back to the void besides the Rift Herald. They get damage galore, and Pleasure is down. That means a 5 versus 4 temporary power play for SKT, but what can they do with it? What can they get? There's no waves in their favor, and even the mid turret is very risky to siege.
Yeah, and we see this Veigar. He is slightly behind in gold, but he has the items that he needs. And, but this...
Jumbo, that's a curse
Jumbo
down,
not.
but so is he, trading his life for almost next to nothing as Navy looks for more. Exhaust is onto him, and he has to stop going forward. Davy Cricky slowing them down with this shield, but when the Rek'Sai's from behind, he actually flanks in. Not in time, though, cannot get the flash down, and he does have to burn his own to secure CWL, but as of right now, Astico is getting chased, and this is just a complete and utter slaughter. Alpha Kittens marching through the mid lane, and they're looking to pick up even more. The last two members just getting chased down, chased back into the base, and even with a Mumu up, I don't think they're going to stop at the turret.
Yeah, well, it looks like they are just planning to play safe as their front line is a bit low in health. They're setting up ward control around the upper jungle of SKT, and they're getting Baron control, and they will probably want to maintain this for a few minutes and then pressure for a Baron around the 25-minute mark or so when they have some more items and have a little more strength. But we see that Alpha Kittens, they had some slight hiccups this game so far, but they have had a very dominant early game, both games, and there is the Veigar burst.
No.
100 is zeroing the Jhin. I mean,
think even if that Dark Matter hadn't hit,
that ulti would have just blown him up.
It would have demolished him. I mean, he only needed to hit 2 of those spells, lands all 3, and picks himself up a nice bit of AP for it. And now 10,000 gold separating the teams. The gap is widening, and we need to see something very, very quick out of SKT. They need to land a pick. They need to make sure this York can't just keep splitting, because right now he's going for an inhib turret.
Yeah, and this Amumu does not have any magic resistance. Veigar's ultimate, for those who are unfamiliar with it, will deal more damage to people that have lower health. Oh my... What? Nabi.
100 to zeros him. I mean, this is just slaughter in the purest sense, and even with Astico up here, even with 3 members
He's just
showing
1v3ing.
up, he just doesn't have to care. The Maiden of the Mist is almost another champion at this point. They have to spend forever taking it down, a super minion in its own right, and it's up whenever he pleases. He can just bring that into a lane, drop it down. But right now, they're dropping onto the Baron. ALK, with the Baron in their sights, can they make this happen? 2 members are zoning, 3 are actually taking it, and the Amumu is sneaking in the side. Could this be a steal? Big boy Jumbo stunned, actually. He's not where he needs to be, and he actually gets in late with the pit, and he steals it! That's a Baron to them, and SKT, they get the steal, but they're losing their members. This is all going wrong. 4 have fallen, make that 3. CWL wasn't in the fight, but Jumbo did what he needed to. He needed to steal, and he made it happen. That keeps them in the game for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Jumbo did not drop Curse of the Sad Mummy there. I believe it was off of cooldown, so I don't know why he didn't pop it when he went in. But he does get the smite off, does get the 50-50 steal. And I mean, it wasn't even 50-50, it was, oh my. They're all so low. Twisted Fate could potentially
theoretically,
get a
it wasn't
kill.
50-50. That was a 2-level up Rek'Sai, but
yeah,
realistically, it turned into a Baron for...
They're all so low. They just
Baron
have to dodge
Jumbo.
cards for now. But if TF hits one card, he gets a kill.
If TF
And he got
autos the
stunned.
Veigar, if TF autos the Veigar, he is down. Jin's coming to do that, though, and Amy picks up a kill.
my.
Now, Das Boers looking to get away with his life. He does manage it, but there is no curtain call. Otherwise, that would have been an easy 2 or 3 kills for Amy.
Yeah, they overstayed for that inhib. They were not going to get it. The death timers were coming up, so members were going to be flooding in soon. And they were all so low. They were just dancing around, playing with fire. And I mean, they almost burnt themselves. They got a little singed. The Veigar did die. But that
a little singed. They got a little Veigar.
Is that a short joke?
Well, it did leave me short of breath at the end. I am pretty hilarious.
Oh my.
As of right now, we are short on time for SKT to come back. They need to make it happen, and they are just completely on the ropes. This is... Braum needs to take the folding chair and just Vince McMahon somebody. He's not going to happen, though, with Davy Cricky down. That's a big part of their front line missing, and AK are looking to shove it in, shut it down. Jumbo is there, but what can he do with no damage to back him up? He's backing away, and Astico is still kiting it out. Das Boers with the chase.
Oh my.
They do catch the Jin barely on the side. I mean, actually, it's CWL. Can he TP away? He gets the stun, he gets the TP, and he's out! Flashed
The
in!
flash on
Actually
Burrow.
stopped Das Boers! A beautiful stop by him, but they've got yellow cards, and they've got them for days, and 3 pounds doubles it up.
Oh my.
Make it 2. It's a double pounder instead of 3, and it doesn't matter. Whatever they do, Astico will go down. Jumbo will be chased, and Nabi could get a kill with just the ghouls. He's chasing in, he's got a Q, he smacks it down, and the Mummies gets even sadder as this Yorick is unstoppable, 6-1-7, and they just can't stop here. Davy Cricky still taking damage. The inhibitor turret is under fire, and with no minions to speak of, this is all up to the Maiden. So much HP on that minion that it's just going to go down. They could even start onto the Nexus turrets or go for a double inhib package.
And I think referring to the Maiden as a minion is a bit of an understatement, to say the least. This
It's a
Maiden
super.
is extremely strong, and the target of Maiden, if it is a champion, the Yorick will deal bonus damage against them. So, I mean, if someone is being targeted by the Maiden and Yorick is smacking them, he will be chunking them out for so much of their health. And we see that the tanks on the side of Alpha Kittens are just unkillable. I mean, we mentioned the low damage of only the Jin and the Twisted Fate on the side of SKT, but this Yorick and this Rek'Sai, they're hardly being dropped below 50% HP. I mean, look at them. The Rek'Sai, 4-1-12, the Yorick, 6-1-7. They just aren't dying. Only 7 kills on the side of SKT, compared to the 25 of Alpha Kitten.
Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy with a 12,000 gold lead. This is larger than the lead they had last game. All they have to do is not throw a Baron. They almost did this time. If that Amumu ult had landed, I think that would have been a team wipe. But for right now, Pleasure needs to be aware of his surroundings, and he is aware enough to get a kill. And that's 2 for him. Break it 3, Jumbo, CWL, and Ostico all sitting on the floor, sleeping with the fishes as they fall in the river face down. Now, the turrets are just going to get mauled to pieces. They have a Yorick in the top lane, they've got 4 in the mid, and these inhibitors don't have long in this world.
Yeah, if the Braum is not there with the Unbreakable to shield his team, if the Veigar lands a stun, or just has people inside of the E, the event horizon, Misfortune's ultimate will just shred them. And I mean, we saw it there. 2 players immediately bursted. The tanks, nonetheless. And I mean, there's really nothing to do at this point. There's just an incredible gold lead. 15,000 gold, and Jin is being dropped.
Ooh, and that's a good curse, but there's no damage. There's nothing behind it. There's no way to kill them if you don't have damage, and they do have damage on the side of ALK. They get a double kill for their troubles, a beautiful Braum ult to knock up a bunch, but a triple kill, and this is the start of the end. Nabi goes in, he flashes forwards, and CWL is chased back into the fountain as Pleasure follows it up. 3 pounds hitting the Nexus, slamming it with the shovel. This is all but over, and ALK are going to take it 2-0.
Yeah, there's not much to say about that second game. The first game was very, very nice and competitive, but this game, ALK were in the driver's seats. They hardly made a mistake. They just rolled over SKT and did amazing. I mean, you see that MF, that Yorick, even the Veigar just at the end, they all did their work, and they all did their jobs, their roles, and you saw them come together as a cohesive unit and close out the game.
Yeah, that's going to be it for us right now. We do have another game coming up later tonight. If you're interested, come back at 9 p.m. EST. We've got some more games, but for now, we are done. This has been Learning Fives. I've been Zeta. Thank you for watching, and also thank you very much to my co-caster, Epic Death Guy. You have been amazing. And is there anything else you want to say before we sign off the stream?
Nope, just come by later tonight for the final show match of the session. I mean, it should be hype.
Absolutely. And with that, we are going to take our leave. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us at 9 p.m. if you want more Learning Fives. You can also follow us on Twitter at Learning Fives, or follow us on here. You can get notifications for when we're streaming. It would help us out a lot if you came and watched some games. So thank you very much for watching, and join Learning Fives for another game at 9 p.m.